This is Jason from Laundry List, and today I'm excited because we're here with
Mackenzie.
She has a purchase and sale agreement in hand to buy a laundromat. You ended up going back before the 30 days were up. Walk us through how you counter-offered your own offer.
Yeah. So, right, I definitely did that. Once I unpacked how a triple net lease works, and I understood the ramifications on me as someone that would be paying those three ends every month, model out 11 years, which is the term left of this lease, what a 3% increase does to your bottom line every year. I hadn't thought of it, hadn't done it.
Right.
When I did that, he also challenged me to say, okay, well, are you going to be growing your business 3% every year? Is that possible? So like, these are the things that I just had not thought of.
Plus inflation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all these things were kind of coming at me, and I was feeling this detachment happening from this deal.
The weight of buying a business, all of that. Anyone that's bought a business knows all these scenarios play out.
Yep.
So you're beginning to feel a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Look, if the laundromat was only $150,000, $200,000, you'd probably be like, who cares?
Yes, exactly. I would have been much more open. So I basically said, wow, I absolutely have I have put out an offer that's over what I should have put out based on age of machines. I did a analysis of, let's just assume that the life of the machines was going to go 5 to 6 more years. Right. I did a CapEx calculation.
Yeah, the machines would have cost $150,000, $200,000 just to replace the machines.
It was even more than that.
Right.
So then that's eating into my profits. Yeah. So I did all those numbers.
All of that, putting that $400,000 into a nice mutual fund.
Right.
And before you know it,
that was looking really very positive. So I basically came back and said, okay, this business, at the very most, I would do a 3x multiple. Right. And so I think my final offer was, I think it was 320.
Yep.
And they were completely offended.
And they sat on it. And I remember I asked you, like, what's the status? You told me what you did. And I said, they will come back.
Yes.
So the owner's a dentist, right? The reason they were selling is they were going to retire. They were going to move. And I thought, all right, they're now concerned about this $100,000. It's not that $100,000 isn't money. A dentist, successful career, saved money, made money off a laundromat for all these years. And now he's going to let, if he counters it to 380, 390, 370, like you're only off by 40, 50,000, right? There's not a big gap there. And I remember saying to you, I can't imagine a dentist is going to let a cash offer walk away and prevent him from retiring and getting rid of a laundromat headache that he might be viewing as a headache at this point.
Definitely.
And I said, and this is where we said earlier in the podcast, you're coming into the slow winter season. The numbers are only going to work in your favor. The competitors' numbers are going to begin to chip away at the revenue of this laundromat. I said, time is on your side. Plus, the holidays are coming. It was going to be Christmas holiday. And I said, here's what I think is going to happen. I think the owner is going to reevaluate life and everything because he's about to make some big decisions. And he's probably like, 50, 60,000, who cares? I'm out of here. And so what happened? Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you had a crystal ball and everything that you said that would happen, happened. Like within days, it was actually eerie. So that
I just chalk that up to intuition and business experience.
Yeah, definitely. No, but you had that thread the whole time.
I'm a laundromat owner. So I know, I know generally, like I said, I'm not your typical laundromat owner. I have my own financial success. I know, would I let $50,000 like separate me from just achieving the next phase of either the business or my life? No.
Yeah.
I think the dentist probably, I could get into his psychic a little bit.
Yeah, you definitely did. And so I think it was literally a day or maybe 2 days later.
Yeah, it was fast.
They came back. It was fast. It was the timing that you had outlined and said, we would like to negotiate. But they came to me and said, what can you do?
But even before they did that, I remember you told me, they said non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And I told you, I said non-negotiable is always negotiable.
Exactly. So I said, okay. So, and you also have to know like your point of when you are okay to walk.
Yeah.
And you have to know that if you're okay with that, then you have to just be comfortable with that.
That's the most powerful negotiation you could ever have, is the one you're willing to walk away from.
Exactly. So they called me and put it back on me. And I had,
right before Christmas. Right
before Christmas. I mean, gosh, it was like a week before the holiday. And I said, oh, no. I'm not putting out another offer. I already put out my offer. That was my very best and final.
Right.
And they said, well, would you do this or that? And I think we were still like 40,000 off. And I was like,
so they countered. They came back. Mm-hmm. So a non-negotiable offer came back from 420 to like 380.
Yes.
And then you held firm.
I did. I was by then I had all the data.
Right. Plus you had convinced yourself it's worth this to me, and any dollar more than that, it's not. And I think that's the correct position.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, they came back with a final offer to a non-negotiable offer.
Yes.
And they basically, you ended up at about $30,000 or $40,000 apart.
Yep.
Because they lowered their initial non-negotiable again. At that point, you held firm. Mm-hmm. And you also went through the process of, why would I do a cash deal?
Yes.
I can finance and not tie up my own, right? So when did you realize that you didn't want to do a cash deal?
Yeah. I mean, I think the cash deal came from, I had the cash. I wanted to use it to buy a business, and I thought it would be the cleanest, simplest way. That really was naive. And
I tried telling you when we were sitting outside that, hey, you don't have to tie up this capital.
Exactly. And I had a few people say, why aren't you leveraging debt? And so it was then just like, I think it was a bit of like, wait, why am I structuring it this way? I don't have to do this. I called my loan officer and we walked through it. And that was also part of why I knew offering cash for this deal would be the only way, is because their books were not clean.
Right. It makes sense. Lowballing with a cash offer, but it wasn't really that lowball.
No,
that's
it wasn't.
The problem.
Exactly.
Like I said, if they were going to accept 300,000, it would have been worth it.
Sure. Yeah. So it was at that point where I knew what I thought the business was worth, and they were going to tell me, they were not going to tell me anything else I didn't already know that would justify me overpaying at that point.
You guys have a gap, and you're holding firm. They seem to be holding firm. They don't know that you're not even going to do a cash offer at this point.
Right.
What happens? Did you end up buying this laundromat, and did you get it for the price you wanted?
I did not buy the laundromat, and I am very happy with this outcome.
Yeah, I think you made the right decision. If they came down in price, it still would have been a decent deal at the right price.
Yep.
And that's true for any business, obviously.
Right.
All right, so that was a few months ago. You still have this desire to own a business.
I do.
You still have never asked me about my business. No, I'm kidding. And when I say I'm not negotiating, I'm negotiating.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
You walked away from a deal that didn't make sense. And a lot of people need to be willing to walk away from a deal if the numbers don't make sense.
Yep.
You were able to verify the numbers. In the end, what path are you on now to buy a business?
I will answer that. I just want to say one quick thing. They called me back weeks after and said, "Is there any?" I didn't
know this.
Yeah. They called me back weeks later and said, "Is there anything else that you would consider, that you would do?" And I said, it was at that time where I said, I've actually reconsidered paying a cash offer. So the entire structure of this deal would change. And that's when they said, well, then we have no interest in pursuing that.
What happens if you went back to them and said, I'll do a cash offer with a 3x multiple, and I want to see your most recent P&L?
Yeah.
Would you consider it?
My brain kind of goes back, because I did actually reach out to the broker just because I can't help myself and I'm curious. And
you're still looking for a business.
I'm still looking for a business. And so he said, we've taken it off the market, and which just tells me all that I need to know. It was the right move, and I don't have any regrets on it. And I think I would look for something else.
You didn't ask why they took it off the market. I'm gonna guess why. I think that their numbers were not looking good through the winter. I think the comparison year over year with the competitor and just the seasonality. And I think they're hopeful that they're going to put it back on in the summer.
Yep.
And then people are going to, start to nibble again.
Yep.
6 months from now, I would go right back to them with a lowball cash
Very
offer.
low ball. I know. I've thought about this.
And they probably will be willing to play ball.
Yep. And that's the only piece I've thought about. And it would be like really low ball.
Yeah.
Like real low. I'm talking like 125, 150, because I have all the leverage.
Yeah.
And I know that.
You're vicious. But that's what I would do.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly the only thing I've thought about. If like, that's just still in my back pocket, or more in the back of my mind, like, okay. And they may, of course, say yes or no, but that's.
So you told me you're looking at franchises. Where are you in that process?
Yes. So I'll say, really, I didn't understand franchise model. I didn't think it was going to be for me. And I still don't know if it is for me, but I'm trying to be as open-minded as possible of the other avenues to run a business.
Yep.
What I think is interesting about the franchise model is if I continue to stay in my role, which I have plans to do, that you can buy a business like a franchise that already has a playbook.
Yeah.
It's a playbook and you execute it, and a lot of seasoned leaders like that route. So I met with a broker several weeks ago, and she put together kind of a presentation for me of the businesses that suit what I'm interested in, going back to what I said at the beginning of the
just
hour.
out of curiosity, what was the most passive of all the franchise businesses that you thought?
Let's be clear, none of these were passive.
Right.
This would be like a
I was
career
already
transition.
clear.
Yeah. This would be like a career transition down the line, or I would buy it and I would have an operator in place until maybe I would be in the business. But like none of these would.
Were any of them fast food?
Passive. No.
Are you still actively looking and evaluating laundromats?
Not since this deal, no.
But they're still good businesses.
Absolutely.
Can you envision yourself getting back out there, knocking on doors?
Yes. Yep.
When do you think you would start that process? I mean, I'm trying to get you a business here.
Totally. I mean, I think when you have a full-time job, you honestly have to like build in the time, which is what I've had to do, of saying, okay, these 2 nights from 9 to 10, my cold calling or emailing,
Right.
Because I find that sometimes it's just hard to block out that
I think
time.
There's a lot of people that fall into your category where they know they want to transition to their own business, but it's tough when you have a full-time job.
Yes, it is.
You're still going to look at potential laundromats, but you're just on a slower timeline.
Yeah, slower timeline. And honestly, like, I feel like I put myself through like a mini MBA course in this due diligence phase, in all of the people that helped me, everything that I learned. So now I feel like, okay, if I find one, like I will be so much more knowledgeable, and I will have even a broader network than I did before, you being one, to say, hey, can you help me with these two things?
There's no reason to rush into a business just to own a business.
Correct.
It has to be the right business with the right terms and the right fit for you as an owner.
Yes.
Because even if you bought that laundromat, you still have to deal with the day-to-day of a wash, dry, fold.
Yep.
For me, that's why I have stuck to 100% self-service and no wash, dry, fold or any of that, even though I could grow the business and do that, but it fits into my lifestyle. And the other thing, for a lot of people, there's plenty of people that want to buy laundromats that may not have savings. I think it's important to point out, I was able to do it because it complemented and supplemented my lifestyle. And I had already saved money from other businesses to be able to be a little more relaxed about the revenue my laundromat's generating.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I don't want a lot of revenue generated, but it just means I still live and survive whether the laundromat is making a ton of money or not. And that is a comfortable position to be in, but it's a position that a lot of people looking to buy laundromats are not in.
I know.
And so the numbers really, really matter. And you don't want to overpay and then find out, wow, I just shackled myself because I'm only making $2,000 a month instead of $10,000 a month.
Correct.
Do you have any advice for people watching that are either in your situation or similar situation where they want to own a business? You've now gone through the process. You had a business, you could have, if you just said, hey, I'm going to put $370,000 down, it would have been yours.
Right.
So do you have any like wisdom or advice for people that are going through exactly what you're going through?
Yeah, I would say 2 things. One, and this was what someone told me to do, write down all the things that you're interested in, all the things that you think about. And it doesn't have to be a business. It's just, what are those interests?
Right.
For me, it's wellness, fitness. I love doing laundry. It's hiking. It's all those things. And just seeing if there's any threads that could connect to a business opportunity. And then the second thing is, don't stay too long in the analysis research phase. I think you can do that, but you have to also just get to the point of just picking up the phone.
That's why they have the expression paralysis by analysis.
Exactly. So I feel like even if it's just, it doesn't mean you have to put an offer out. It just means doing what I did for you, emailing to say, hey, could I pick your brain for 15 minutes? Go to the place that you're thinking of that you'd like to purchase, do a walk around. Like, just take action. Take
action, I think, is a great piece of advice, because a lot of people want everything to be perfect.
Yep.
And as you found out, it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
There's always going to be pros and cons. And in the end, if the price was better, you would have bought it.
Yeah.
And it's not like the business still wasn't a good business or a viable business. It just wasn't the price that you wanted to pay for that business.
Correct.
And you know what? You still may get that business, whether it's 6 months or 8 months. The dentist may have a change of heart and say, you know what, it's yours for whatever.
Yeah. The other thing I'll say is, don't underestimate how helpful people could be. I have emailed, I think it's been maybe 10 podcast guests on Laundromat Resource, all the other places that I learned, and every one of them has taken my call and given me time. There's been not a single person that has said, I won't carve out time. And in exchange, I, check in and just tell them what's going on with me. And it's just been a nice, reach out, just ask. It doesn't hurt.
You mentioned Laundromat Resource. I think they're a great resource.
Yeah.
I've actually been on Laundromat Resource a few times.
Yeah.
I think Jordan, he's done great things for the industry.
Great. Yeah.
And everybody in Laundromat Resource, they want to be helpful, because we don't view each other as competitors. We view each other as information sources. Do you have any questions for me?
Do you think that we would ever do business together in the future?
I would never rule out doing business with it. I mean, obviously you could rule out certain people. You never know where things are going to take you.
Yeah.
For example, first of all, I never thought I'd have a YouTube channel. And the only reason I have a YouTube channel, besides the fact that obviously I want to become part of the AdWord program and make passive income that way. Although I have to say, creating content is not easy. It's a lot of work. I enjoy it. I ended up being a guest on other people's podcasts, and it just led into all these unique and interesting things that I never predicted. I own a laundromat. Right. Obviously, it's not my first rodeo. That's what I do now. I own a laundromat. Yeah. You never know where things are going to take you in terms of business. Did I ever think I was going to be living in Beijing, Shanghai, Taiwan in my 20s and start a company? No. And did I think that opportunity would have snowballed into other opportunities? Probably not.
Yeah.
But I've learned that you can't predict these things. If you and I were to ever do business, I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah.
Because what happens if I said, hey, I'll sell you 20% of my laundromat?
Right.
I mean, there's no rule or structure for how a deal can be made. I mean, I have a person that comes in here in men's clothes. I mean, it's a unique and odd partnership, but it works. I have a flexible mind when it comes to deal structure. Yeah, there probably is. Yeah. There is potential to do something.
See, I think that's so cool, because you also, if you embark on this journey and you're open to it, you can meet some really cool people that, I don't know, could just something could come out of it that you're just not expecting. So I think that's for the case for you and I meeting. It's like, oh wow, happy to have you.
You may call me next week and say, hey, there's a laundromat I'm looking at, whether it's 20 miles, whatever, and I may say, you know what? Let me go in on it with you.
Yes.
You have no idea.
Yeah, you really don't.
I mean, I'm not looking for that, but that could happen.
Yeah.
If you find these videos useful and you want to help me out, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. This is Laundry List, the best place for brainwashing.
Love it. That's good.